Hello.
Hello, we are back.
Hi,
We are
everybody. And we got some people
here. Oh,
here.
do we? Alpha
We got
Tryon.
Alpha Tryon that doesn't want David touching that Beverly Hillbillies set again.
My ideal Beverly Hillbillies jalopy.
That was, oh God, when it ran across the floor like that. I didn't think it was going to move that fast.
Those types of wind-up mechanisms, though, every once in a while, you should turn them over for the health of the toy. So, not all the time. But
hey, K-Munit.
Yeah, Munit. Every once in a while, you should.
Reynard, you're a week early, bud. Valentine's Day is next week.
It's coming.
He can't wait. And then we got Hank. Hey, Hank.
Hey, Spike.
And we got Spike.
Hey,
Spike.
With Godzilla there in his little thumbnail. Or what do you call that? That little icon.
Pastor Rick.
Pastor Rick is here.
Hope everybody is doing well. Going. And they had a very uneventful week. Our week was uneventful.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, it was a very uneventful week.
It was,
and that's how we like it.
And we don't
slow, boring, uneventful.
And we don't have anything coming up for quite a while.
Yeah, so that's always good.
Take a break from the shows because I don't think, unless something just pops up, we don't really plan on going to anything else until the Toylanta.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a big show anyway, and then we'll be there all 3 days.
Hey, David.
So, yeah.
K-Munit, that was a premiere. That wasn't a live stream. So when you set your video as a premiere, you have live chats.
Yes.
So you can chat, but David or whoever hosting it has to be in the chat to respond.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a live. It was just a premiere, and you can live chat back and forth with the person as the show is going on, or the video, or whatever you call it, is going on.
Yeah.
So that's what that was.
Of course, that was the showcase of the Beverly Hillbillies jalopy, still in functioning condition. Alpha wants me to run over. No, I'll use the tank for that.
No.
Nothing. I'll use the tank.
Hey, Tommy.
There's Tommy is here, and Blue Splash says, "I'm curious to know the Mondo issue." Oh, you will be hearing about that.
We actually filmed the video today.
Yeah, we filmed the video today because it ballooned into a full blown rant but it's not just Mondo. It's Mondo. Oh, and there is Nostalgic Pod Blast, and yeah, look, this Chance from Nostalgic Pod Blast gave us this. It's gum. It's a big league chew.
Yeah.
So you can pretend like you have chaw, but it's gum. Anyway, because it's not just Mondo. It's an issue with all these like high-end 6 scale, super expensive action figures wherever you got them from. But Mondo just triggered me again. And so I had a little rant. I don't do that often because I don't want that to be what the channel turns into. But occasionally, and the last time was like a year ago, actually. It was because of a bad experience on eBay. And I did a rant. But yeah, I don't do that very often. But Nostalgic wants to know where we are with Dallas.
So Jenna's in jail for shooting Naldo.
He deserved it.
She don't remember anything. That girl, Jamie, oh, I can't stand her. She caught JR again cheating.
Yeah. JR cheating? Yeah.
And then of course she ran home and told, and well, her and JR were talking about it, and Sue Ellen came downstairs and overheard. And of course JR was like, oh, she's lying. But Sue Ellen knew that the girl wasn't lying. I mean, JR was kissing on the woman, and one of his old full-time side piece.
She's an high-end prostitute.
Yeah, that JR used to frequent a lot. But she called JR to tell him that she's getting married.
Yeah, she's getting out of the business.
Yeah. So they met for lunch, and Jamie came to relay a message to JR that was important. and she saw them. So instead of just cutting in and be like, "Hey, excuse me, but Bobby needs blah blah blah," she just stood there and kind of watched the whole thing. So
Yeah.
that's where we are.
William says he's still sick.
Yeah, but he's starting a new GI Joe collection.
Let me know how those hold up, because he's talking about the Super 7 O rings.
Yeah, the Super 7 and
Mhm.
Hasbro O
Mhm.
rings. So love the gum back
Yeah.
then.
Fans
And
of
yeah,
Big League.
Alpha Trion, and then we got Big
Big Ben
Ben.
wants to know what we think of the Simpsons. I like I like the pre-Disney Simpsons before they got really PC,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't really collect anything Simpsons, but it, I I don't know. I mean, the Playmates, the original Playmates action figure series
Mm-hmm.
looks interesting, but
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty freaking big.
Yeah.
And there's Lee. Hi, Lee.
Who shot JR?
Hmm.
Um, Sue Ellen's sister. Um, it's a lot, and we see it
Hmm.
everywhere. And sometimes when you see it's not just onesie twosies, it's a lot. And I think we've
Yeah,
been
it's
to a
like,
couple of shows, and it
and they've
seemed like the
had like
person,
50 of them.
yeah,
Yeah,
they, excuse me, they had like the whole thing.
most likely they bought out someone's collection and they just brought the whole thing to
Yeah,
the show. But there's been a few times we've been in a show and yeah, somebody's had a ton of them. They
yeah.
sell. They usually sell them
I
out,
don't know
but
what they cost. I mean, what they go
yeah, I don't
for
know either.
because I never looked. Watermelon says Hank is the best one. The
Hank
watermelon.
says watermelon's the best one.
Yeah, that's the same.
Okay.
Hey Johnny,
Johnny
how
is
are
here. Johnny
you?
Future
And we got
and
Nerd
Nerd.
is here. Don't know if both of you saw my comment on the weekly roundup, but the
I know.
not are you Ken.
it's it's Haruken. Haruken. Yeah, I know.
I may go to Toylanta. Fingers. Oh,
Okay,
okay,
says
great.
Blue
Make
Splash.
sure you introduce yourself because
Yeah.
we won't know you if you just walk by and don't look at us and then kind of wave. You come up and
Yeah, because
speak and say
some people
hey.
get spooked, but even if we're filming, you know,
Yeah,
we don't care.
yeah.
Yeah,
Come on up.
yeah. Say hi. You know,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. The Simpsons pinball machine is
Any
fun.
classic pinball machine is fun.
Oh yeah.
Munin says he saw the new Simpsons figure at Target and Walmart. They don't seem to be selling too well. Yeah, it's
Oh
modern
yeah.
stuff. And I see Frank and Frog has joined us as well.
Bazooka Joe, grape and cherry gum.
Oh
I used
yeah,
to
the
chew
bazooka
bubble
brick.
yum. Yeah, but you remember bubble
Bubble
yum?
Yum was soft,
Yeah, I
and
used
then
to chew that.
the counterfeit Bubble Yum, Hubba Bubba.
I used to chew Hubba Bubba, and then they had the big round one. I think it was like a jawbreaker, but they had that hard shell. Then you bite into it, and it had a hollow middle.
Oh, those like the kind that come out of the gumball machine. Because
Yeah,
you're like, oh crap, look at the size of that gumball. And it's
yeah.
like a jawbreaker. It's like freaking huge. It's like an inch and a half wide. And then you get it out and it's literally like 14 millimeters thick. And you bite it and it just crumbles. William says he opened his 5 figures up Leatherneck, Sergeant Slaughter from Hasbro Transformer set, Cobra Commander, Snake Eyes, and Cover Girl. Okay.
Oh, from Super
And he
7. He likes them so
likes them
far.
so far.
Hey, Raccoon Eyes, how you
Raccoon and Shao
doing?
Kahn
And
is
Shao
here.
Kahn. I
Yeah,
think he's new to that person is new to the channel. I call everybody he. That person is new to the channel. I never seen the name. I
yeah.
don't remember
You don't remember the
seeing
name.
the name. So
And Shao
hi,
Kahn has joined us. And of course, if you guys didn't see,
Bubblicious.
yep,
Yeah.
Bubblicious. It, today, of course, went up the showcase of the Beverly Hillbillies jalopy, which most people have never seen one.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen one. Yeah, that's right, Tommy. They got rid of the fruit stripe gum, the one with the zebra,
I don't remember that
mascot.
one.
Really?
I don't think so. I don't remember that. Oh, I definitely will come up and talk
Okay.
to you. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
because even if I'm filming, and I might do another live walkthrough before the show starts again,
Yeah.
like I did with the Joe Lanta. But yeah,
That one turned out well.
yeah. Even if I'm filming, we don't care. We don't care. Say hello.
The Super 7 figures fit the Hasbro
Oh, good.
stands. Oh, that's
That's
good.
interesting. So
Yeah.
they stayed with the model.
And well, with the reaction figures, if you get the GI Joe clamshell, it fits the reaction figures.
Yes, the classic
Yeah.
like these.
Yeah.
And this is the standard size. Um, this card back is actually a very standard size
Yeah.
for most figures from that time period. The Mego 3 3/4 inch figures, the Star Wars figures, the Raw GI Joe, the cards are all identically sized. Even Rock Lords,
Yeah.
even the
There are a
obscure
couple.
stuff, even the obscure stuff like this
Mm-hmm.
Commando, the cards are the same. See, they're
Yeah.
exact. There's a uniform size to the cards.
Yeah.
So this blister, this clamshell is like the most popular model of clamshell
Yeah.
because it fits almost everything.
Yeah,
It's
you can
crazy.
find them on eBay fairly cheap because I
Yeah.
just got some because like I said the Super 7 reaction figures fit in them
See,
and a
like there's
lot
a
of
Mego
stuff
Buck Rogers,
fit in them.
same size.
And you can find them on eBay kind of cheap.
Yeah.
Those ones are cheap. When you get to the bigger size, that's when they
Or
really
obscure sizes, but
start
yeah, see,
costing. Yeah.
they're it's a real uniform size for most standard action figures.
Yeah, Johnny, once you chew all of the sugar out of those gums, you gotta spit it out because then it's just nasty. I love the mini record album Bubblegum. For I don't remember they had a record.
That sounds familiar. Or see, like even Rock Lords.
Oh no. Johnny wanna know what's the deal with Pirate. What do
Oh
you do
shoot!
with my kitty?
I didn't do anything. I don't know what happened to her.
Yeah, it's
Um,
a couple of them missing.
yeah, there's a couple. I'm really concerned about it actually because they usually don't go far, and it's all woods and a lake, and Pirate went missing, and it's been like what 4 days now, and
Yeah.
then one of her sisters now has
Mm.
been gone since I didn't see her yesterday, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what the hell? So I'm like, is because sometimes they might wander off for a day or two, and that's happened. Like Sugar Cat,
Mm-hmm.
he disappeared for 2 or 3 days, and then he turns up again looking frazzled. They might have gotten lost or something, but I'm like, okay, is some animal harassing them or hunting them? Is some neighbor from somewhere bothering them? What the hell? And I haven't, I've been out looking every day,
Now, and I
you know.
told David, I know I joke with him, but we do have predatory birds in the area.
Mm-hmm.
We got a big, gigantic owl that lives in the trees across the street. We got hawks all over the place. Um, I never seen any like foxes or stuff like that, but I don't
No,
know if a
not
fox
this close.
would bother a cat or coyotes.
Even a coyote on its own wouldn't mess with a cat, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
but
probably wouldn't. But
David does go out in the woods and it's a lake and he goes and search and
and
it's
some
like a
creeks.
some creeks and he walks the beds and everything looking for them. But
Yeah.
it's a lot of houses around here that house cats. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
go and you when we go walking, you see like this house, they got like 12, 15 cats and it's
Yeah, I was
another
like
house
a
that
mile
got
from
like
here.
they got a group of cats, and those cats stay in those areas. So I'm like, well, maybe they
Yeah.
kind of made friends someplace
Yeah,
else.
and that's going to be my next thing is to walk by and take a look at that. I got to know. It's really bothering me because I mean, when's the last time a cat just disappeared around here? It's been forever. Um, but
Frankie Frog says he's about 40 figures away from the entire WOS
Simpsons
Simpsons
line.
line.
That's a lot of and
Yeah.
Munin is talking about the Storm Arena Street Fighter. Ken is the
No.
one with the long hair.
Okay.
And Alpha says Wrigley ruined Big Red Juicy Fruit when they changed it to sugar free. Oh,
I
blah.
never liked Big Red or that cinnamon
Yeah,
gum. I never cared for cinnamon gum or
that
cinnamon
Big Red
soda.
freshness.
Yeah, that it'll shock you. And David, you guys have any stompers? I don't know what
That's a
stompers
it's a
are.
car. No, I don't have any stompers.
Okay. Hey
And there's
Robert, how are
Robert.
you? He's watching Buck Rogers, says
Yeah,
it's a
the
great
70s
series.
show. It's fun.
The first season.
And Hank says,
Does the president's economic policies have a huge effect on the values of toys? I've heard a lot of people been talking about that because of the tariffs, and they talk about it with comics, and they
mhm.
like this one guy is big on electronics at work, and all of that. I don't know.
Well, all what I will tell you is he did it when he was president last time. Did you notice a difference? People forget that. He
Mm-hmm.
did it last time. But yeah.
The
Johnny says
modern.
the clamshells look like it would fit modern reaction
Yeah,
figures.
that's what
They
I was
do.
saying. They fit
They
the
do.
reaction
The
figures.
reaction figures conform.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, until something happens, I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't. I'm not even going to think about it because, like I said, he did tariffs last time. It didn't cause a problem. Plus, the countries he said he was going to give, he was going to impose tariffs against, he suspended it because they're negotiating.
Yeah.
So it's not even on. I know that there was some woman did a video and she says, "Oh, look, these tariffs are killing me," and then she shows duty taxes and like duty and tariffs are not the same thing, right?
No.
But yeah, it's not even on. So we'll see. Yeah, Johnny says you'll have to go on a hunting trip.
Yeah. Look,
I
he go on one every day looking for them cats.
I mean, even if I could just, even if something happened to him, if I could find him for confirmation to know what's going on, that just really is bothering me because it's been, I don't remember the last time a cat just disappeared, period. You know?
Yeah, I was shocked when David said those figures were 27 because
Yeah,
they
they're
go like
usually
80, 90
80 to
dollars.
120, depending upon how big they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe they're cutting back on the quality of stuff.
I don't know.
Or maybe they're cutting back on
Well,
nothing and just
Bandai does
know.
the same thing because they'll
Yeah,
make two
that's
different
true.
Goku figures that look the same, and one's on a card for $20, and one costs 140.
Yeah, depending on where they're selling. Hey,
Yeah,
Miko, how are you? I
yeah.
don't know. We can buy any toys from China. Heard he stopped it. Eh,
No, they didn't stop shipments. The post office said they were considering stopping imports on de minimis deliveries, and a de minimis import, a de minimis incoming package from another country is anything under a value of $800 going to someone's home. Okay,
mm,
so you purchase something, it costs less than $800. The post office just ignores it. The duty doesn't care. The customs doesn't care. Okay, and the post office said, well, until they figure it out, we're going to stop receiving packages from China. But then they changed their mind the next day
hmm
because it occurred to them. And look this up, I'm not kidding. Every day in America, consumers, that is from off the ship to your home, purchases from wherever you bought it from China, 4 million packages a day coming from China to just regular people, not even counting businesses. And the post office said, yeah, gee, where are we going to put all that?
Yeah.
Forget it. We're not going to postpone anything. So it's not off. They stopped it for like one day and said, no, this is ridiculous. So,
Tommy remembers those records.
yep.
And no, David, we're not doing a bonus live stream for the Super Bowl. We could care less about the Super Bowl.
Well,
We're
maybe
not.
he means will we be on when the Super Bowl is on
No,
so that people have an alternative to watching the Super Bowl.
no, ain't nobody gonna do that. I
Oh,
mean, you know.
no. I don't watch football, so I
Lee
don't even
also.
care.
No, we don't care about it. We don't watch it. We're not going to. But I mean, it's not. I mean, I like doing a live stream, but it does take time out of your day and the thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to plan. So then now something else ain't getting done, so that we would normally do tomorrow or whatever.
I
So
don't even know when the Super Bowl is.
it's tomorrow.
Is it?
Yeah, they told me at work, and
Oh.
I was like,
and
"What do I
you
care?"
cared that much.
I know. Hope
And
the
yeah,
kitties come back.
so do
Yeah,
I, because I'm real upset.
and
Actually,
she can't have no babies because she got chopped to bits.
they remember that they were the ones that that whole group. They're the ones that I caught for and was working with the Humane Society's cat ambassador. They were all TNBR'd. Mickle says we have foxes, coyotes, and hawks, all of which will definitely go after cats, at least the ones in our area. We live in a mountain area, so there's mountain lions, which I've seen as well, but not as much.
Oh,
We're
boy.
not that far out in
No,
the
we ain't
sticks.
in no that far. But we got a lot of wooded area. And we got that big fat owl that lives in the
Yeah.
trees across the
I don't
street.
think he's quite cat material though. He's not that big.
Man, we took a video of that thing. That thing was
He's not.
gigantic.
I don't think he's that big.
I don't know. Space 1999, Joe. Who was the astronaut Alan Carter pulling for to win the Super Bowl in 2025? I have no idea.
No, nobody, because they weren't near Earth anymore in 2025 from their timeline.
Lee prays that the cats come back
So do
soon
I. I'm. It's really
for the
killing
kitty
me.
poo. Thank you,
Thank
Pastor
you,
Rick.
Pastor Rick made a donation to the channel for the cats,
I'm hoping
but
somebody did take
that's
the cats,
possible.
and because they might have rats in their house or just
Yeah,
want some company.
the
But
girls in particular, the girls are really the three sisters.
hmm
They're really
Hey, Mick.
puffy and fluffy. They got like 3 inch long fur, and they're very friendly.
Yeah,
So it's possible somebody might
I
have been,
don't.
oh look, but
But they don't come up to you though, so I don't know
they
if
come
that
up to
could.
me.
Yeah,
But
you. But like,
strangers, I don't
yeah, I
know.
don't know. You can only speculate,
Yeah,
but I hate to think that somebody hurt them. I hope somebody took them and
yeah.
took them into their house and they're doing well. Um, but it's no way to know. But I think they're too scary for that
I would think so.
because they
Because
don't come up to you like,
I've got cats I can cradle like a baby, but
yeah.
someone comes around, they run and hide.
No, yeah, they run from me. I go outside and try to feed them. They all scatter.
Dad likes you.
Yeah, dad, mom doesn't run anymore. Hobo doesn't run. It's a
You
few of
can't
them
touch
that'll
mom though.
stay right
Yeah,
there. But the ones he talking about, man, you open that door, they run like
yeah.
somebody shot a gun at them.
Frankenfrog says there's actually 200
Wow, are
Simpsons in
you
that Playmates line.
serious?
Nah, that's too much. I wouldn't have space.
Wow.
I
Did you see Johnny from MIB? Oh God,
did see
yes.
that. I saw that video,
Oh,
and it was the
oh God.
he had a loose Spock. He had Spock, and
Oh my God.
he said, "Oh, it was on a damaged card." And I'm like, "Yeah, right. Like you would open even a damaged card." I know.
I
I almost
sent him
had a
a
stroke.
message and asked him if it was the end of the world, and
Yeah,
I
I know.
missed it.
Yeah, I have to pull a Mr. Grace on it. Oh, who knows Mr. Grace?
I was
Ooh.
shocked when I saw him hold, and he was just holding it like all like kind of shaky and fragile. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he got
I
that
know.
in
I
his
can't believe he
hands
did
like
that.
that. Oh wow, I was shocked. And Mick collects chew bops. I don't know what that means.
That's the box. I think that's the box for those records.
Oh, okay. And we got Christopher is here.
Christopher has joined us.
And Nostalgic also collects chew bops.
Okay.
And we got Dr. Cohen is here
from
from
Springfield,
Springfield,
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Not Springfield, wherever the hell
The
Springfield is in The
Simpsons are.
Simpsons. That's right.
I'm wondering, are you planning on getting any Buck Rogers? He
I
already
have.
got it.
I've got some of the figures. I do not have the vehicles. And Werewolf is here.
Yeah.
I do not have the vehicles, but I would. Oh, and Werewolf is in Perth,
Yeah,
Australia.
Australia.
Yeah, I've I would collect the vehicles. Vehicles are more expensive, for obviously, to especially the way I do it, because I would want them to be mint in the box like these are mint on the card. But I have the first wave of the Battlestar figures, and I have all but two of the Buck Rogers figures.
Mm.
And then I would need, various vehicles or whatever, but that's they're harder to get. They're harder to get in any kind of decent condition. William says he thinks Super 7 figures are better than most people give them credit for. They're a little slender, however. The original Raw figures went through changes in the beginning. Overall, I'm happy. That's good. Johnny says he has the Stomper 4x4 blue pickup with the red flame. Super rare and hard to find.
Are they about the size of a Matchbox or Hot Wheels?
No, they're bigger. It's like,
oh, okay.
You could put your hand around
like
it.
118 or 132?
Probably maybe 118. It'd be like a pickup truck, but it'd be about so big.
Yeah, about a 132.
Yeah.
Could the higher the number, the smaller. I'm thinking we buy most figures from China. I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mostly. That's where they put a lot of them. And Mick has
Go to
a
color
Planet
form.
of the Apes
Oh,
color
that's what.
forms.
Okay, I was
Some
like,
of
what
those
is
sets are
he?
hard to find complete. Those old color forms set. I have one.
Ah,
I have one color
Christopher has
forms.
Happy Days color forms
Okay.
when he was a kid.
Yeah, I have one, and that's where did I put that?
I don't
It's the one that Lou
know.
gave me.
Oh no, in the end zone, just
Yeah.
ruined the game.
Yeah, well all of those have gotten pretty political.
Yeah.
Let's just say a lot of the sporting events now.
Yeah, you want to. People normally watch sports
Hmm.
or used to watch sports as an escape to get away, and then they brought world issues into it, and it's like we watch this stuff to get away from that for
Yes.
the length of time it takes you to play this game, and now you bombard me with it, and they do it with those sports networks, ESPN, and all of those other things. They bring all of this real world stuff in it, the politics and all of this in there, and people don't want to see that. They
No.
want a break from it for a while, but you
Yeah.
can't get away.
And
Hey,
you
Christopher.
ruined it. Custom
Yeah,
God reminds us owls might go after
yeah, they
cats.
go after them.
And what Chance answered the joke. He said Eagles. Alan Carter flew Eagles in space 1999.
Oh,
But
okay.
you're assuming I even know who's playing. I have no idea
Yeah.
who
Well, I
is.
know who playing because when I went to go take my car to the shop yesterday,
Uh huh.
they were watching the sports channel.
Oh, see, I don't know. I have no idea who's playing.
Yeah, I
So
could care less. Not
yeah,
my cats. David, how much sweet talking did LPS do to braid your beard? I just wanted to see what it was gonna look
yeah.
like.
And then I can do like Bluebeard, and I can like wax the.
Ugh,
I can put wax on the ends, and then I can light them on fire. Cause
that's a
was it
bit much.
Bluebeard or
I
Blackbeard?
don't
That
know.
was a real person.
Uh huh.
Used to do that. He would have like a ton of little braids, and he would wax them all
Uh
and
huh.
light the ends so it looked like his face was glowing.
Robert wants to get the Zika Eagle one.
Yeah, I showcased that
I
because
remember you
it's
showing
big. It's
that.
bigger
It's
than the
bigger
original
than
one.
okay, yeah, it's bigger than that.
It's bigger than this one. Yeah, it,
Yeah.
I still prefer the original though.
Oh yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, trying to stay away from modern stuff. Modern
Mhm.
stuff is getting under my skin. I like looking at it.
Yeah.
I like speculating about it and stuff like that. And we do the weekly roundup, but I find that the majority of it is just really poor quality.
Yeah.
It's getting frustrating. It's getting frustrating. Dr. Cohen said, excited to get second or third wave of Super 7 Haunted Mansion figures. They're a
They did
completely
Haunted
different ghost
Mansions.
color from the first set,
Oh.
and it's disappointing. Who
Mhm.
makes those decisions? Brian does. I don't know.
Oh yeah, we answered that. David said he would like to get the Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers
Sure. I
vehicles
just can't. Yeah.
affordable.
Yeah, they're expensive if you could find them.
Hey GI
G.I.
Joe
Joe Dave
Dave,
is here from Canada.
straight from the
He
pits
says that we're his favorite
from
channel.
Niagara Falls. I went to Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Slowly I turned, step by step. Who knows where that's from? Inch by inch. I bet you Johnny and
Chance
Chance
knows.
knows what that is.
But I went to Niagara Falls some years back. I really enjoyed it. I've been to a lot of places. Um, that's the one natural site. And I know it was, they kind of made it, but
Hmm.
it's natural enough, I guess. But I like that. We did the Maid of the Mist and all of that. It was real
Did you
nice.
go over in a barrel?
Ain't nobody doing all that now.
Yeah. Werewolf says next week he starts
Oh,
packing to move
mm.
35 boxes of comics and then toys. I feel sorry for my back already. It's a
Ooh,
workout. It's a
yeah.
workout.
Yes, 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 yes,
Hmm.
yes.
But
Hey, David.
yeah, he says when he was a kid, he liked Stomper 4x4s on fire. Oh, he lit them on fire to
Oh,
see if the battery would explode and let it go
oh,
forward,
you
but
were
chickened
bad.
out. Bad kid. I wouldn't buy you another Stomper. I say Christmas is canceled. Or I'm sorry, Boxing Day is canceled. because
When LPH was talking about Captain Simeon and the Space Monkeys, I didn't I didn't ring a bell, but once I saw the show on Tubi, I quickly remembered the show
I'll
and
show
had
you
the
one.
figures
So some
as
people probably don't know what you're talking about.
yeah.
But,
I got two of the figures. I'm gonna get some more of them because I like the show, and that's the one thing
yeah,
about watching those shows. You go looking for figures
yeah.
if you like it. Like if
Here's
I like it, I'll go look for the
there's
figures.
Captain Simeon. As you see, once upon a time he was in KB at 3 for $10. That's $3.34 a piece. And this was what, a 90s, right? 1996
Yeah.
action figure series based off of a after school cartoon show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's like 60 something episodes, and it's the people who wrote this. First of all, you'll recognize a lot of the voices,
Yeah.
including Michael Dorn and others.
Mm-hmm.
But the the show was written with adults in mind because
Mm-hmm.
they figured adults might be also watching. So there's a lot of references to every sci-fi show and movie you've probably ever seen,
Yeah.
all throughout.
In Twilight Zone episodes, they
Yeah,
make references and they'll say something or a scene.
yeah.
They'll reenact the scene from a sci-fi movie. A
And
lot of
they
Star
do
Trek,
the
Star Wars.
they do the red shirt bit at the beginning of every episode.
What's a
The
red
red
shirt?
shirt bit is from the original Star Trek. There's this thing that if you're
Mm-hmm.
wearing a red shirt in the
Mm-hmm.
60s Star Trek, you're probably going to get killed
Oh, okay.
because they were the security guards. But
Oh, okay.
and the two, if you notice, the two monkeys that always get killed in the
Mm-hmm.
front of the in the beginning of the show are wearing red shirts. But and then this is unique also. This is a Mattel toy. See, because they're in space, right? You can spin the package.
Yeah. But it's a funny show.
It's a
I mean,
small line. It's a small
it
line,
is.
and it's cheap.
It's a doofy show. It's but it's fun to watch. I
Yeah,
think Gore and Spider is the funniest characters.
yeah.
This one is Gore. Which one? Oh, where my
The
hand
gorilla.
at? Yeah, that's Gore right there. And he's a gorilla, but then
Yeah,
when he gets angry, he
and
turns into some
that's
big
regular gore, and this is transmogrified gore because he's
yeah.
like the Hulk. If he gets upset, he gets bigger.
Yeah. But it's a good show. I mean, it's on Tubi. It's free. Watch an episode, see if you like it.
Sure.
Robert wants to know if you're going to get any Star Wars, Star Trek spaceships.
If they're vintage and if it's in the budget, because I mean I have a couple of things. I don't think I have anything vintage Star Trek really,
Oh, wow.
but I do have you know, as far as like vehicles, but stuff like this. Like there's the Patrol Dewback, and that's the second release because it
Mhm.
says Collector's Series.
Mhm.
So this was released around the time of oh God, what, Empire Strikes Back was it? But they didn't even bother to change the box.
Oh,
No,
wow.
this would be Jedi. I think this is probably going to be 1983. But instead of putting Return of the Jedi, they just added this to the corner and called it the Collector's Series because they just reboxed Wave 1 stuff from like 1978, 1979. But a couple of things like that.
Raccoon Eyes had the big
One right up there.
Smurf Village color forms. Played with it until it fell apart. I wish I still had it though. Love that smell too. New color forms don't have the cool smell.
With that like weird crayon kind of rubbery odor.
Yeah, like in the Crayola box and stuff like that.
What I did with it.
Johnny said, give us all a thumbs up. So everybody hit those thumbs up. And we got Legends is here. Hi from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Legends from Puerto Rico. Thank you for joining us. LPH, are you going to see the new Smurfs movie? No, I haven't seen any of the live action Smurf movies. I only watched the cartoon.
They're making another one?
That's what Robert says.
Goodness. Okay.
I just never watched them. I never cared to see it. I love the cartoon, so I'll just stick with that. I don't really care for too much when they do when you have a cartoon, it was made to be a cartoon, and then they do a live action. I don't really care for that because it just don't feel like it translates well. It's like it's things that you do in a cartoon, ways that you look, and it translates well. It looks fine, everything goes well, and then you put it in a live action. Or well, Smurfs is not really live action. I guess it's all CGI. So I guess it's
Yes,
about the same.
but the people would be real.
Right. But it just I don't know, it just don't look right and I really don't care.
This is a color forms, and that's the Shogun Warriors, obviously color forms there from the 70s. And in case people don't know what that is, you get like this background. See, like this is a
What is that?
futuristic cityscape background there, right? And it's coated with
Mhm.
plastic, and then you have these little pieces here, right?
Mhm.
That are also like a soft vinyl, and you peel them off and you stick them onto this plastic and create a scene, and then you can peel them back off later and stick them back on the cards.
What is that?
A toy.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it's an activity kit more so than a toy, I would think.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what basically color forms looks like.
Oh, that's a colorful.
That's what I said.
No, I didn't hear you.
Okay,
I never
but
had a color form. I don't know what it is. I thought y'all were talking about like a type of coloring book. You know, like the ones that had that velvet and you
uh-huh.
use the magic marker.
No, that's not what that is.
Uh,
I never had a color forms when I was a kid either.
yeah, I never had one. Never saw
No,
one.
yeah.
Chris went to the North Forsyth Flea Market in Cummings. We've been to that one. They had some good figure dealers there.
Hmm.
Wally's Retro World. They're really good. We went there a couple of times.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I said a couple of times. We went there. Yeah, a couple. We went there twice.
My,
Mark's Johnny line.
Mick wants to know if I have any of the Mark's Johnny line. He has Johnny Apollo. No, I have like what Johnny West, like this.
I don't know. Lee says you look like Blackbeard.
There's Jamie West. My
Three Stooges.
yeah, yeah, that's right. Three Stooges. You're way behind.
I know.
See, she's got sealed contents. Jamie West. I've got I don't have much. I used to have a pretty extensive line of Vikings, Knights,
Hey, Eric.
Johnny West, and stuff like that. Stony Smith. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have all that stuff anymore. It's part of the collection that was stolen.
Custom Guy says, "What do you think going to be in the next Disney Marvel Mego 4-pack?"
Three figures that's already been done and one new one.
And Legends is here. Hey, Legends.
And then, of course, I've shown these before. I've got almost a complete set of the Atropitos Dynamicos, which are the Plastamarks, the south of the border marks from the 80s that, or no, 70s or 80s,
Mm-hmm.
that are in an 8-inch scale. Artwork is fantastic on them, though. But yeah, it's an 8-inch version of the Marks figures. And it's supposed to be like 9 altogether, but they never there's 2 that I've never even seen. I've got 7 out of 9, but I don't know if the other 2 even exist.
William Randall says that the backpacks for the GI Joe don't fit on the Super 7 GI Joe.
Really?
Yeah, say the hole too big.
Oh no.
And Johnny got 4 comics in the mail, Silver Age, including the Superman number 167, the origin of Brainiac. Low grade,
That's
but at least
cool.
he had one, and that's all that matters. You got one.
And
So what?
Judge Dreads is here.
And he thinks you got a cool beard.
Yeah, my wife made me do it.
The Three Stooges went
Niagara
over
Falls,
the things
yeah.
on Niagara
No,
Falls.
no, there's a bit where they if they get triggered. One of them, if somebody says Niagara Falls, they get triggered. It's a trigger word for them, and they get upset because something bad happened to them once at Niagara Falls.
Okay. I used to watch. Now we missed what show he
Yeah,
used to watch.
because you fell behind there.
Because you keep talking.
Shao Kahn. Oh, you want me to just sit here and not talk?
No.
Shao Kahn says that he's collecting masks.
Oh, that's cool. I love that show. Now with those long strands of David's beard, you should braid those four long strands
Why? So
together.
that it can be like that
No.
short? I mean, it's just you run out of hair.
No, we're gonna take that out. That's enough of that. I don't want that to go too far.
Yeah, Gilgamesh has
Hey
joined us.
Gilgamesh, how are you?
Yeah. So, Nostalgic was never satisfied with the Mego 12.5 inch Buck Rogers figures, ended up 40 years later doing custom 12-inch sets.
Oh, okay. A Buck, Wilma, Hawk. I like Hawkman.
Yeah, they
I
never did
really like the
Hawkman as a
Hawkman
figure.
character. I
Mm-hmm.
like that actor's voice and everything.
Because the figures are all from the first, or actually they're all based on the movie.
Oh, there was a Buck
All
Rogers movie?
Yeah, the first 5 episodes are actually the film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the all of the Mego Buck Rogers stuff is based off the film, not the show, and they never made figures for the actual show itself. For some reason, Mego decided they wanted to do Love Boat instead, because that
Judge
makes perfect sense.
Judge Dredd
Remembers
remembers
the
the Space
Space
Monkeys.
Monkeys. Captain Simeon and the Space Monkeys. Legend says, thank your channel for inspiring me to get nostalgic tattoos for years to come each winter. Wow.
Wow.
Oh no.
That's a 12-inch Hawk from Buck Rogers.
Yeah, that would be nice. But like I said, all
Sobe
those are
Soda.
based off of the movie, not the show.
He getting a Sobe
Soda
Soda
logo.
logo next year.
Okay. And Munin wants to see the compilation of Toys R Us commercials.
Isn't that coming out tomorrow or something?
Monday.
Oh, Monday.
Monday that'll go up at 3 p.m. and it's the very first commercial all the way till about the early 90s.
Okay.
And you can watch the timeline. You can watch it, including the disco one. There is a disco one.
And Robert noticed you don't have any spaceships in your collection.
Come on now, Robert. Give me a break. Well, yeah, I've got the Eagle right there. There's the Eagle one from Mattel. Yeah, I've got some
Gnomes be like
spaceships.
your Santa Claus. That Santa Claus been there. He found it at the flea
Yeah,
market some
Santa.
months back.
Yeah, this is a store display Santa from the 80s. He's exactly 36 inches tall. And yeah, he was at a flea market, and the seller was very, very motivated to get rid of it, had no idea what it was. And he is an action figure. Ho, ho, ho. That's right. And so he's our mascot now. And I got him a nice emergency fire hat to keep him company. That's Santa's present.
David saw a guy do a review of a Mego Killer Clown and had no idea it had action figure articulation and not the floppy stuff plush feel.
Really? He never opened Amigo, never saw Amigo before? That's weird. And Eric wants to know, what does David play and what does LPH play as far as music when chilling in the museum?
Like when we were cleaning up today, on YouTube Music, it allowed me to create a playlist. So it gave you just like a ton of artists. And I played that. So it was real random. And I like that because I like listening to my music random. So we heard some 60s, 70s, 80s R&B. We heard some 60s, 70s, 80s classic rock. We heard some pops from pop music from the 80s. It was just a lot of random stuff because I like listening to music random like that.
Yeah, and we both have fairly similar musical tastes.
Yeah.
So, we just, because we get a lot of records too, and she just pulls them out however and puts them on, and I don't mind.
Had a busy day. Had to replace some of the siding. Ooh. Rihanna is playing Smurfette.
That's terrible. That's terrible. That doesn't need to happen. But yeah, I mean, I do have spaceships. Like I said, the Eagle Space 1999. But it's again, usually, and I don't mind having that loose, but usually I prefer things to be boxed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just when you're talking vintage like that, that can get up there. That can get very expensive. I got the Moonbase Alpha playset too for the 9-inch figures, because the figures that were produced by Mattel in the 70s for Space 1999 came in two sizes. They
Mm.
had the 9-inch, and then they had the little 3-inch figures that came with the Eagle,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was Palatoy made a Mego figure. They made Mego Space 1999 figures as well. Um, like, let me see, that's a Mego Palatoy Space 1999 figure, and that's the mysterious alien. Trying to figure out who he is?
Yeah.
Forget it. It's mysterious.
Oh, okay.
And then Mattel also made the 9-inch figures in 1975,
No, that's
like
cool.
this, and that's the Koenig, Commander Koenig. And they only made 3. Technically, there's 4, because there's an alien that's on Koenig's card, but that was like a salesman sample or a prototype. They turn up from time to time, but technically, there's really only the 3 figures. And then there was a play set, which is this one. That's the play set that goes with the 9-inch figures. It's just a vinyl cutout.
Hey, Patrick.
Hi Patrick. Like, how Big Jim, all of them made these vinyl cheapy play sets. That's tough to find sealed.
Looks like Tanya. Man bun on your chin. No.
Plus, how much space you think I got?
I
mean, come on now.
We got a lot of space, but it's still cluttered.
We don't have that much space. I tried.
Super Joe Gore figure.
Picked up the Super Joe Gore figure.
I don't know what that means.
Oh,
hey, Jesse.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Jesse Saywad is here. The Super Joe, the 8-inch GI Joe action line, and they had some weird stuff. They had like the intruder, the little bear hugger, little action figure that you press the button on his back and he'd squeeze people. Let me see here. Let me move ahead. Gnomsky says that's cool. What is? And Robert says the eagle is beautiful. We just catch up here or move ahead. But yeah, this is that's the Eagle One play set. I'll bring it over here real quick. And it's a big toy from Mattel, also 1975. The headpiece, the pod, and the tail end, they snap off and connect to each other. So it's a transformable toy. And it's got it opens up and the figures are in there. It's incomplete. The figures don't have their helmets and, they're missing the guns, whatever. But I'm happy to even have this. This is not an easy piece to find. This is a pretty tough toy to come by. You can open this up here and you put the figures inside. A little cockpit right there. It's a cool toy. I really like this. And this is something I really wanted when I was a kid. And I've told the story about this before, that there was a Secret Santa on our bus when I was in school, when I was in, God, what grade? I don't even remember. It was like 2nd grade or something. And it was Secret Santa. And the kid up the street from me, who was much older. No, I was in 1st grade. I was in 1st grade. He was in 5th. And he drew my name on the bus, Secret Santa on the bus. He drew my name. And he says, yeah, I'll give you my Eagle One playset since you like it. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Never gave it to me, bastard. Brian, you suck. But, and even though I had a collection before, the collection that was stolen many years ago, I never did come across another Eagle playset. And then Lee, who is one of the subscribers in Canada, sent it to me. He sent me that Eagle one after I told the story a couple of years ago. And so thank you, Lee. I was shocked. I was like, holy crap, I don't believe it. And Action Figure Joe's has joined us. Glad you could make it. Uh, Chance says, yes, Migo did love boat figures with large vacuform ship playset. If it was anything like the quality of the Star Trek and the motion picture bridge vacuform set, it must have been terrible. Yeah. The Nostalgic says Buck Rogers 79 is the 2-hour pilot. Yeah, but to me it's a movie. You know what I mean? Not that it was necessarily in the theaters, but it was released 6 months before it aired on NBC. The first 007 movie villain who played Dr. No was in the theatrical version. Okay. I see what you're saying. As we catch up, and Logic Blaster has joined us. Just trying to get ahead here a little bit. And Munin says all those Toys R Us commercials will be before my time. One of the 90s ones I may be familiar with. The thing with that also is when you watch a collaboration of commercials, like if you saw the one that I did for Carvel ice cream, which you're probably not familiar with if you aren't from the East Coast, you can see the soul of the company dying. You can watch it die. You can see right where Tom Carvel, who by the way is the old man in the picnic in one of the earlier commercials. You get to a point, by the time you reach Fudgy the Whale, you know Tom isn't there anymore. You can feel it. You can feel the soul go right out of it. You can see the same thing in the Toys R Us commercials. There'll be a point when you hit about the 90s, the soul is just dead. It's not there. And Mark Franco has joined us from Cape Cod. Said, my favorite couple fellow collectors. Yeah, and LPH went upstairs for a minute. She will be right back. Logic says he wish he had those Space 1999 figures. And Alpha says, is it best to not attach the fist on the Shogun Warriors figures? Oh no, put the fists on. All of mine have them. I've got a bunch of them right there. You're talking about the deluxe ones? The jumbo Machinders. Those are jumbo Machinders. And the little one there, where am I? The small one is a mini jumbo Machinder, they call it, because he's only about a foot tall. And the rest of these are about 22 to 24 inches. But yeah, you see they're all connected. It shouldn't hurt anything. It shouldn't hurt anything unless there's some kind of damage or defect to the figure itself. They plug in and they work. These things work really well. The fists usually just kind of snap right off. You just grab anybody there. These, because it's just a blow, you give it a twist and it disconnects. It's pretty solid, actually. It's blow mold, but it's thick. It's really thick. And so you can snap it back on and you're fine. There are some of them that have launching features. Like this one is missile launching. You see he's got that elbow joint, and you press the button and it'll fire. Like I'll do that right here, right? And there it goes. The springs on these old toys, typically, they always still work. You hear that snap, and I can,
yeah.
I just don't want it to fly across the room. But that stuff usually works.
But the stuff you bought last week don't work.
Oh, it fell off again. And then like this right here, his little nipple missiles. There's a switch on the back. If I turn it, they'll launch. All that stuff always works. So unless something is broken, and then if it is broken, it don't matter anyway. You may as well put the fists on. You may as well.
Camuna says every time you show play sets, it reminds him that so few companies even make them anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, we got knocked out.
Yeah. And then like the Godzilla fists, all my Godzillas, their fists launch. They all work.
Robert, think you have great sci-fi stuff. I just noticed it's the
The
figures,
figures.
not the spaceships. I'm in the same boat.
And what's that? Johnny says, "Did you get a really old Superman from a show recently? You're thinking of something else.
Okay.
That's that Batman. It's over here still. I know what he's talking about."
Intruder went with the 12-inch Joe line. Logic Blaster thinks that's really cool. The next Falcon Eagle one is awesome.
See, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the Detectives Comics number 84, because that's 1944.
Mm.
The detective. It's really clean too. That's a really nice copy, and it's still attached. And this is a wartime issue, which means one staple in the center. And usually the covers come off or the centerfold comes out.
Mm-hmm.
This one is still intact.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a really nice copy.
Black, what? Black Arrow cartoons. It says that ship reminds him of the Space 1999 ship.
It is.
It is that ship
Yeah,
from Jerry Anderson.
The Eagle. The Eagle one. Yeah, Jerry Anderson was classic.
Mm-hmm.
Was classic.
The Zika one I heard is only a few inches longer.
Yeah, it's a couple of inches longer. And Munin says Secret Santa was luck of the draw. You either got a nice gift or a piece of crap. I got zilch
I
because
don't think I
Brian stiffed me.
I don't think I ever did a super Secret Santa before. That's one thing I love about y'all's channel. You have so much stuff I've never seen before. Most collectors have the same basic Motu, G.I. Joe, TMNT stuff. Your collection is much more interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, I enjoy the diversity of it. And the thing is with the modern stuff too, they don't stop making it. How many G.I. Joe classifieds are there now? It's about 200, I think, almost. You run out of space, you got to turn them all sideways. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Legends remembers he believes in 1999 or 2000 he saw a commercial for a Pillsbury Doughboy action figure. To this day, I still want it. You mean like these?
Yeah, because David got that set.
The vinyl figures or an action figure? I don't think there was an
Speed.
action figure. But I don't think there was an action figure per se, but they have made vinyl figures since like the early 70s. Action figure Joe Fig saw Buck Rogers in the theaters.
And he really likes my
Michael Stabler likes LPHs.
I get the figures.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're usually set up on this side because this is where the cable is.
The cable for the computer, because we got the computer hardwired in. We tried the Wi-Fi and it wouldn't hold a signal. You know, you pay all that money for 5G. It mess don't work. It was working fine when it was 4 and 3. It was all over the place. WGN Chicago aired the Carvel ice cream TV spots all the time. Okay. I've never heard of Carvel until David started talking about it. It wasn't in my area in South Carolina, but again, I lived in the backwoods of South Carolina, so nothing was there. Sorry, I really like LPH chair cover. Sorry for the first comment. It's sent on accident. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I This is actually bed sheets. So I bought some bed sheets from Goodwill, and made chair covers. That's where the Turtles one. And for David one, I actually bought G.I. Joe fabric and then made the chair covers. So his is G.I. Joe and the seat is G.I. Joe. And then mine is bed sheets.
That's the original 74 Pillsbury Doughboy, right? Of which there's an entire family, and they call it Pillsbury Playthings. And in 1997, they made a homage to it. They reproduced the figure, and you can clearly see there's a difference in the paint schemes and everything. It's not even a recasting. Somebody remade a new mold. You can see that there is a difference. Now, unfortunately,
Hmm.
even boxed, these are not very expensive. You could probably get this for $50 or less off eBay,
Yeah, but you. Oh,
sealed like this.
oh no, I was gonna say we've seen these loose.
You find them loose all the time.
Yeah, but not the rest of the family.
Yeah. Now the thing is, um, Pillsbury Doughboy and his wife Poppy,
Mm-hmm.
you can find them
Mm.
mint in the box. The other family members, that's where it starts getting weird, and then and extremely expensive. But yeah, the I mean, you can get this mint in the box for like 50 or less. The other stuff, it is a lot harder to find, and it can get up there.
No, Robert, I'm not getting the NECA Sesame Street figures. Mick is thinking of collecting the LGN SWAT figures. You have those SWAT figures. Yeah,
Yeah, I
David
have a
got them.
couple of those.
Let me show
See,
you one.
and then they have smaller ones like this, which are like the finger puppets that were sold in Sears and stuff. But the more obscure it gets, the more expensive it gets. And the most expensive one is Uncle Raleigh, which is another little finger puppet like this with a little yellow hat and a mustache.
Mm,
And he has a little car that looks like the cloud car from Care Bears. Mint in the box, thousands,
wow.
thousands of dollars for that. But a lot of the other stuff you can find for a reasonable price. Oh yeah, it's LGN SWAT,
Yeah.
classic.
He got that in the van. It had the SWAT van. So he got what, three figures in a SWAT van. So,
Yeah, I don't have a complete set of any of the TV figures from LJN, unfortunately, but they are very, very difficult to find carded.
yeah.
All the SWAT, the emergency, and the rookies, plus there's multiple versions. So there's like all of them. The first run came on a red card for emergency, a white card for SWAT, and a blue card for the rookies, and then they were all re-released on a black card, all
Mm.
of them. And then there's 2-pack figures, and then there's the boxed ones from Montgomery Ward's, and it's a huge can of worms for basically 12 because there's 4 figures in each set.
Mm-hmm.
12 will turn into like 48 before you know what happened. Michael Staples says we need more Bloodborne and Dark Soul figures. We
I
have
don't know what
limited
those
options for fans.
Do you have all the Shogun Warriors?
No, I don't have them all. And I collect all 3 versions because they had a 3-inch and a 5-inch die cast, and then they had the jumbo machinders, but they only did one. That is Mattel
Mm.
only did one mini jumbo machinder. And Munin says, from what David's saying, the commercial compilation may be a little bittersweet, mainly because we all know what happened to Toys R Us in the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
the commercials don't go that far because it stops in the 90s, or I stopped in the 90s. But yeah, and again, you can feel the difference in the commercials. It's something about it changes, just like the Carvel ice cream. It changes when you get to Fudgy the Whale. It didn't feel the same anymore, did it? Because I
Mm.
think Munin, you watched that one, didn't you? Or I know Raccoon did. If Raccoon is still in here, because I remember they commented. But yeah, when you get to where Fudgy the Whale, the guy in the Fudgy the Whale
Yeah, when he
costume,
came to the door.
yeah, when that happened, it did not. The commercials did not feel the same, and I'm like, oh, I bet you that's right where Tom Carvel died.
Mm. Johnny's gonna take off because he's been up for more than 24 hours and he getting
Okay, get
sleepy.
some rest.
Yeah.
Mickle never got to shop at Toys R Us. Told himself when he had a job and older he would buy something from the store and never got the chance. It closed by that time.
I never shopped there as a kid.
Yeah.
I never went into a Toys R Us. No, that is the truth. I never went into a Toys R Us
Mm-hmm.
until me and David met. I went into a Babies R Us because I had a girl I knew was having a baby, and I went in there and bought her a Babies R Us gift card. But I
Mm-hmm.
never been in a Toys R Us until me and David got married, and then I think we were in Illinois the first time we went to one.
Yeah.
That was my first time. 60, 70 toys were
usually
usually
built
built
to
to, and they
last.
still
Fair,
lasting.
yeah, they still working. They still working.
And we talked about that a lot when we did the Mondo video that we recorded today that David's going to put up later.
Hmm.
How you have these older figures, they made them with, I guess, kids in mind. Like, okay, what did my kid do? My kid tears up everything. So let's make this thing where we won't have to go out and buy toys over and over and over again.
Yeah,
I
you
think
don't
that's what the thought pattern
stay away
was.
from those consumer complaints.
Yeah. Mickle says thanks. He appreciates that. I guess you showed him something.
Sure. Munin says, when I was a little kid, I was at Toys R Us weekly. Wish I
Mm.
had never taken it for granted. KB Toys closing was a shame. Also, I preferred KB. I liked KB better. I preferred KB
Toys R Us.
to Toys R Us.
I don't know what Donnas are, but you know what Donnas are?
No,
Oh,
I'm not sure what he meant there.
I would really like some.
MGS figures, maybe Necker or Mezco could do it.
What's MGS?
I don't know.
Oh, bless you guys. I will talk to you later.
Okay,
See ya,
Christopher.
Chris. See ya. Thank you for stopping by. Okay.
And Logic Blaster has joined us.
Hey, Logic Blaster, how are you?
But yeah, I thought KB was much better than Toys R Us personally. But again, as I pointed out before, by the time you got to um, the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
Toys R Us wasn't a toy store anymore. It had reverted back to where it started. Because originally, Toys R Us is from actually 1948, and it was
Whoa.
called Toys for Kids instead of Toys R Us. It was Toys for Kids, but it was also a furniture store.
Oh.
And they got away from that and devoted more solely towards toys in like the 50s. And then the first commercial advertisement came out in 1973. And then they were a devoted toy store, but then they started going back to furniture. So by the time you got to the mid 90s, they were primarily selling baby furniture. So
Brian
and
Sanchez is here.
hey Brian, Davy Jones, yeah.
Yeah, he
Mick,
does have
I
that
do have
Pulsar
Pulsar.
man.
I have a Pulsar man. I do not have Hypnos. I do not have Hypnos, but I do have Pulsar. But yeah, so by the time they shut down, I mean, honestly, how much of Toys R Us really had toys? If you think back, how much of Toys R Us really had toys at that point? It wasn't that much. But yeah, I can show you. Pulsar Man is classic.
Yeah, I wanted to do it. So we went to Goodwill and I looked for those church chairs. I call them the church chairs because they're the individual chair with the arm rest. So you can rest your arms because we figure we'll be down here reading books and stuff like that. So you can rest your arms. And then I was like, I'll find two, one for me, one for David, and then cover them with something that'll match the room and match us and what we like. So in Goodwill, I found the sheets and couldn't find anything for GI Joe, so I went off and bought some fabric and put it together. And to upholster furniture is expensive, but it's really not that hard. And I mean, it probably won't sell for a bunch. I don't do fantastic work, but it's good enough. Shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there go to your little
That's
pulsar man.
Pulsar
Hold
Man.
on, let me move this out the way.
This is Pulsar Man. And it was Mattel trying to cash in on the $6 million man line from Kenner, because the Kenner um, $6 million man, Bionic Man line, and Bionic Woman lines
Mm-hmm.
were killing it in the toy era.
Oh
And that
wow.
Kenner was making a fortune off those, and so other companies tried to cash in. Like Ideal had Electroman
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Tomy had Mighty Max, and Mattel did Pulsar. And so, what can we do to improve on the $6 million man, let's make him an inch taller. His Pulsar Man is 13 inches instead of 12. And he has the button that you push on his back to make a blood pump through his chest. That's why you can see it. And this one is sealed. And you know he's sealed because he's naked, because his clothing are actually inside of a cello bag inside the package, because they want you to see his pulsing chest. They only made Pulsar Man and his villain Hypnos and one playset. There's one playset associated with this. But yeah, there's a lot of goofy things that were done to try to keep up with the $6 million man.
David says G.I. Joe Super Joes were 9-inch figures. I have them made by Cecil in France. They used the Super Joe body, but the heads of something and somebody else. The pilots from
Arcturus and Alcor, the pilots in Grendizer. Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
All
that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Noski says Pillsbury Doughboy. Mm-hmm. Yes, he did.
His whole family.
His wife was Poppy, and they had a little girl, a little boy, and they had a dog and a cat, and a grandmommer and grandpopper, who was Pillsbury Doughboy's mother and father. And I'll show you. I can reach the grandmommer and grandpopper.
We've watched Collectors Call their chance.
Yeah.
We've seen a couple episodes of that on YouTube because we don't have MeTV. But
see, that's Pillsbury Doughboy's parents. See, with the little fat mustache. Yeah, we had put in the application for Collectors Call, but that was like a year ago.
Yeah, they called you once and never called you back.
Yeah, they sent me an email and then they never followed up.
Oh.
So I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people have applied.
Yeah. No, Swamp Thing is not an expensive line as yet. I bought mine, about 2 years ago, I think? And you could get all of the figures. Now, this was 2 years ago. I haven't looked at them because I have the complete set. All of the figures you could get for under $25 because I got some of the carded figures for between $10 to $25. The play sets you could get for like $30 to $50. It was one play set. I can't think of which one it is. That I think it was the transducer,
because the vehicles weren't that much.
Yeah, I think the transducer or that other thing cost the most, and I'll say that may have been $80. But everything again.
I think it's this one. It's the Swamp Trap, right?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
I think it was the Swamp Trap is the one that got weird.
Yeah,
this one.
But they were cheap 2 years ago. Again, since I have them all, I don't even look to see what they're doing.
Yeah,
it might be inching up. But if you want to get into that, the Shadow, from the 90s, now is the time before they start inching up, because once they take off, then it's going to be like everything else.
Yeah,
hundreds of dollars.
That's why I did that video some time ago.
Trade something. Now, I've heard about that. That's not real. On the show, they encourage you to trade something.
Reality show chance.
Yeah. And the person that's the expert is usually somebody you know.
Yeah.
So it's like you would come over and be the expert, and then we would agree to trade something.
Or you can just say no.
Yeah.
Because that's why they call it the collector's call. It's their call if they're going to trade or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's and when I think the one we saw, the guy said no.
I think the guy he had like 4 flags. It was the
wrong figure.
Yeah.
It was the wrong figure. Because he said, I know you've been looking for this one. And he was like, it's not the right one.
Yeah. But yeah, David did apply for that, but he haven't heard back.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything back, so it is what it is.
Robert Remember Cartoon Network had weird commercials very late at night of a guy's head made of ice cream, and he ate himself.
That is weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
That is really weird. And Blue Splash says Lionel Playworld was stacked deep with Ninja Turtle back in the day. Never
Really?
seen so many in an aisle. Well, back then, that's how it was done. You'd have a whole aisle was GI Joe, a whole aisle was Star Wars, and so on. Three aisles might be board games. Now, board games is a section. You know,
Yeah. MIB once gave away Amigo
was it a
1970.
real 75? Or it would have been, I think, 74. But did he really give away a vintage one, or was it one of those modern repros? Oh, David has two of the mini Shogun Machinders. Gold Rack, one has a rocket shooting hand and Great Mazinga, and the other has regular hands to hold the weapons, and they're 12 inches. Yeah, it's like like this one is Mattel calls it Zaragon or Zargon, but it's obviously the same figure that's back there. They just
scaled it down.
Well, no, I mean they wanted to call it something else.
Oh.
So Mattel called it Zargon, and you look at it and you're like, that's not Zargon.
Right, Zargon something else?
No, they made up the name.
Oh.
They made up the name. It's supposed to be Grendizer.
No. Mikko got to go in the KB stores in the mall once, and it was really cool. Legend says the KB Toys location in my childhood is now a Planet Fitness. Hey, Max Mueller. How are you? He likes the beard.
Oh, thank you. My wife did that.
Yeah, it's coming out, though, and it's not going back. I saw how it looks, and now I'm good with that. I would Action Joe would sometimes ride the bike at Lionel Kitty City just to buy toys in middle school.
Yeah, not Grendizer.
Dave?
Guy King.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking of the wrong one, but yeah, it's obviously Guy King, but they named it Zargon.
Custom God worked at Toys R Us and
Did
KB.
He liked KB better
Pastor
too.
got to run.
Uh-oh.
All right, grandbabies are here.
Okay.
Have a good night, Pastor.
I got the box for that Zargon. Actually, see. But that's obviously Guy King from the Dynamech line.
Robert thought Toys R Us was called Bargain Town. Gnomsky said we didn't get a Toys R Us where I live until 98. We did have KB at the mall. So I don't really have the nostalgia for
Toys R Us. Well, that's usually where you would have seen KB because it was all satellite locations, for the most part. And then of course there was what was the name of that? The name of that toy store, because we had one in Boston. It was oh goodness, now I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, while you draw a blank, Action Joe Fix says he's still looking for the right deal for that Billy Blastoff. He heard you got a great deal.
Yeah, I got a crazy deal on Billy Blastoff because we were at an auction. It was one of those, one of the ones where you hold up the paddle, the real auction. And there was a box of the Billy Blastoff stuff loose. And nobody cared. Nobody cared. And they kept going down. And he was like, okay, do I have 10? Can I get 10? I'll take a box full of Billy Blastoff stuff for $10. Sure. And it all works. I mean, it's loose. I don't care.
Yeah.
Eldon Toys, right? I think it's Eldon Toys. There was also Billy Cowboy and Billy Diver.
You got all that?
No.
Oh.
That stuff is crazy rare. But people more so are like the Billy Blastoff astronaut stuff than those. Plus, it looks like the Mattel Major Matt Mason stuff.
David says, me and my cousin would go to Granddad's house and do some yard work, and in the afternoon or evening he would take us to Burger King and Toys R Us. We would get Toy Biz Marvel figures back in the 90s.
Toy Biz Marvel figures were fun back then.
Hey, Richard, how are
Richard is
you?
here. His wife's on vacation for 10 days
Ooh,
in Arizona. They have 3 cats:
mm,
Orange named Weasley, Tiger
Weezy.
Cat named Tig, and a short-haired tabby named Mimi.
Good for you and
That's good.
all the
I only
cats.
get one orange one, and that's Hobo. Hobo, who guards our back porch with his very life.
He don't leave that
He does
porch.
not leave that porch. He's one of those ones that they know you saved him.
Yeah,
You know
him
what I
and
mean?
Dad.
Yeah, because those were 2 of the. How'd you get so far out of frame?
Oh,
Those were the 2 that were the sickest of all of the cats that we've helped. Like
how did that get over
they were
there?
literally dying. I don't know. What did you do? You reversed it?
No. Pulsar is 14 inches and Kenner $6 million man is 13. Isn't $6 million man 13 inches? He's taller than a G.I. Joe.
He might be. I don't remember.
Out of curiosity, we will see a compilation of KB toy commercials in the future.
Possibly.
Ooh.
Possibly. And maybe even Child World for anybody who remembers that.
Oh, wow. Mick says Hypnos is difficult to find complete. He has tried.
It's because you put the little discs inside of his head. Well, he was cooler looking than Pulsar.
Mm.
He was cooler looking. Yeah, Communion. Pillsbury Doughboy had parents, children, a cat and a dog,
He had them all.
and an uncle,
Car, a house,
and an uncle,
oh, aunt and uncle.
and an uncle, Uncle Raleigh. There was a whole Pillsbury family. A whole Pillsbury family.
Parents fatten us up during Thanksgiving.
I had Dunkin' Donuts in growing up in Boston.
The Kenner $6 million man figures are still going strong after 40 years plus, but unfortunately, the plastic used for the Pulsar figures are quite brittle now, so he's gentle with them.
Be
Okay.
gentle.
Oh, so
Yeah.
be gentle with them.
And then, of course, they did Electro Man from Ideal, which is like, what, 15 or 16 inches tall? The Electro Man. And his arch enemy, Zog. And then the Tommy, and you can see it right there, actually. That was Tommy trying to cash in on the $6 million man. And that's the original Mighty Max, who is a cyborg that
Oh.
looks like a Micronaut, actually. It looks like a big, giant Micronaut figure because he's about 12 inches, I think. But not the little figurine playset like Mighty Max. FAO Schwartz. That was the toy store I was trying to think of. Because it was like, oh, high end toy store. There's one in Boston. There's one in New York. There's one in Paris. I'm serious. And then, but there was one in Boston, and it was I think it was near the Arlington Street train station.
The Mission.
And it was a big 2-story toy store, and they had the same toys that KB would, only it was like 30% more expensive at least.
I've been watching old
Toonami
programming, like with old commercials and stuff. I go to sleep watching them. It's nostalgic for me.
Yeah, and Robert says maybe it's the best collector's call. Didn't call you back. They always make people sell some of their stuff. Well, no, you don't have. You can refuse. We've seen them do it. And Munin says never heard a collector's call. It's just a TV show, starring one of the girls from the old. What was the name of that show?
Give me a break.
No.
Facts of Life.
Facts of Life.
Girl that played Blair.
Yes, that's correct. Is all grown up now, and she hosts that show. And she goes around and looks at people's like toy or otherwise nostalgic collection.
Yeah. We've seen a couple of episodes. They're pretty good. The one guy had like all G.I. Joes, and I think he had like 5 flags.
Yeah. Excuse me.
I think they wanted no, I don't even know if they wanted one of his flags. They wanted something from him. I don't know, but he didn't do it.
Nerd says in the UK we had an action man called Captain Zargon. Yeah, all black with a baldric that had a yellow skull and crossbones, and he had a green visor and a laser pistol, right? and he went with the Action Mans that had those rubber astronaut suits. Is
Mm-hmm.
that the one? Mick says, yeah, the Spock was definitely not a Diamond Select in the clamshell.
That's
Okay,
the one he's talking about.
where are you that far back?
Yeah. Because when you're talking, I don't, I just leave it until you get
Okay.
done.
Oh, I see Reston has joined us,
Hey, Reston.
and he wants to know if you saw the Bible Comics website.
No.
And T. Stewart says you look like a supervillain. Can you do comic book evil what hand for us? What comic book evil hand?
He said evil. Oh, evil hand.
What when you mean you go like this? $1 million.
There was a French knockoff of Mascatron. That figure was 12 inches tall, so it didn't fit well with the Kenner 13-inch figures. I am almost finished working on 13-inch versions for my Kenner $6 million
Okay.
man set. Oh,
Okay.
hold on. Gilgamesh said the retro game store at the mall
In
in
Athens.
Athens closed. Oh, we haven't been. Oh no, you said Athens. I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about in Buford, the Mall of Georgia. That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about that.
Okay.
Legends got an animal question.
Oh, what does it mean when a dog does not want to always cuddle during the day, however, prefers to sleep at the foot of the bed? Um,
Some animals are going.
yeah, that's. I mean, some animals are just like that. They they want their independence, but at the same time, they're social. They're also social animals,
Mm-hmm.
like like Miss Kitty.
Yeah.
You can't get near her all day. I go to bed, she's all over me. You know, she climb, lay on my arm, or like get up in the way, and hates other cats. So that any of the other cats come too close to her, she starts growling
She growls at 4:30 in the morning.
because she blocks the doorway.
Yeah, and they do that. They will purposely lay themselves across the threshold of the door,
Hmm.
and everybody a walk around. But when it comes to Uncle and Miss Kitty, oh, they got to sneak around and crawl and growl and hiss. It's like, man, go somewhere with that mess. Yeah, we're not going to another show until March. And Richard knew what you were talking about with
Yeah.
that guy
See how far
king.
behind you are.
Yep.
And Munin heard of Child World,
Mm-hmm.
closed decades. Yeah, because Toys R Us squeezed them out.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, I remember the bins. Blue Splash says KB had all those bins up at the front of the store for sales like 2 for $5 and stuff like
I've
that.
never been to a KB.
Yeah, well, they were gone. Um, they faded away in the late '90s,
In
I think.
Canada, David got his toys from.
Woolco, Kmart,
Yeah.
general stores with toy selections. He
Oh,
has
okay.
memories of Toys R Us once he started buying video games.
Oh, okay.
And Richard says the last cat we got was Minnie. She was abandoned by the upstairs neighbors. Now
Mm.
she's such a love, but she sleeps on the bed. Most of them try to, except for Granny Smith. Granny Smith doesn't sleep on the bed when we're there. Everybody else
Yeah,
tries.
she do.
I don't recall when.
She sleep all up on my side. She get in there. Yeah, she will get in there. She don't stay long, but she get in there.
Yeah,
Getting on my nerves. If that's all collector's call is, leave me out of it. Want
I don't
any
want any stranger.
stranger in my
Yeah, you know
collection.
it's all staged, so it
Yeah, I
doesn't
mean it's
matter.
a reality show.
Yeah.
It's cool to look at people's collection. So that's basically why you watch it. But it's a reality show like no other. And it gets you, if you got like I guess a YouTube channel or a store or something,
Hmm.
it'll get you some publicity.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's like,
Like
whatever.
it might bring more subscribers to this channel if I was on it, but yeah, they're just coming in with the camera crew. I find somebody I could call Chance, I could
Yeah.
call Martin,
Yeah.
or someone else local, and they could come down and offer me something, and I'd be like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, they can
And then
pretend to be an expert and tell you the value and the history of the toy.
And Richard wants to know if Child World had a mascot. Peter Panda would be correct.
Okay.
He was the roller skating panda.
Oh, that's who Child World
Hmm.
was. I remember the roller skating panda. Okay.
And Blue Splash thinks I could be a tick villain. I don't know about that. You mean like the chairman? That who remembers the chairman from the Tick? And David says it's our fault. He now knows that toys from the 2000s are vintage. Gilgamesh wants to know if there's any good comic shops in Buckhead.
No, we don't
I
go
don't know.
around to comic shops.
Legend says,
Mm-mm.
thanks, that helps a bunch. My dog is an ex-show dog who lived in 2 different situations.
Ooh,
Yeah, then it's a bit of a trust issue then. He's
yeah.
probably, because, yeah, it's like your brother's dog that he adopted. The dog was a mill dog. So puppy mill dog.
Yeah.
That thing, it's like a toy. It's like a device. You pick it up and place it somewhere and it just stands there
Yeah,
and
don't
doesn't
move.
move, just looks around. And he carries it around. He's trying to loosen it up because it's used to being in a box.
Yeah.
And so that could be also, that being a show dog probably never got much affection anyway and doesn't understand how to interpret it.
It never got a chance to play either.
It'll ease into it after. It'll take some time though.
KB had better deals.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I love the old KB prices.
Yeah.
Legends wants to know who if they would prefer to be the only dog. No, I think but they would want to be the top dog if there were more than one, because everybody wants to be the top dog.
Still being KB toys in the 2000s.
Early 2000s.
David, have you footage of KB commercials?
I might. I got a big commercial library, and that's where I dig a lot of that up. That's where I dig a lot of that up from. Yeah, well, to promote on the channel, put on the channel for people to see, stir up those nostalgic memories and so forth.
Yeah.
Like again, the Toys R Us will be coming up. I just did I did a Easter block, I did a Valentine's block, and a St. Patrick's Day block, which are fun.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of fun to watch. And of course, the Carvel ice cream block.
Mm-hmm.
Toys R Us is coming up. I'm pretty sure I've got some Child World and some KB, and I can get them out and running. I've got a bunch. I had done some time ago a block of the Shogun Warriors, the Mattel, and the original Popey Japanese ones,
Oh, yeah?
which are crazy. They are crazy. The early 70s Popey
Isn't
Japanese.
that the one where no, that was Chance video where they were in the church and they had killed the people in the church?
Yeah, that's not a commercial. I know what you're talking about.
That was
but,
weird because I'm like, what the heck is going on? They were in the church and,
Yeah.
and killed a person.
That's that live action show that he's been showing.
I was like, what?
But I
That was
put up
weird.
a block of the old Shogun Warriors 70s commercials to include the Popey ones. And like I said, the Popey Japanese ones. Not only are they crazy, but you can see the toys are so much better than the ones that Mattel brought over here.
Yeah,
Mattel,
just like the Transformers.
Yeah, the Mattel Shogun Warriors, they stripped down everything. And I've talked about that before. And Guy King is actually a great example. Because I had him up here a moment ago just showing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the Mattel Guy King, naturally. Okay.
Should you hold it like that?
He'll be all right.
You being
That's
kind
the
of
Mattel.
handling
That's the
that.
Mattel Guy King. They didn't make him cheap in those days.
You can't do that with a modern figure.
This is
holding
also
like
Guy
that.
King, but they called him Zargon. Okay, and this is a mini jumbo Machinder, and you see how he's 3-dimensional, right? You see his chest.
Yeah.
This is how this one looked before Mattel got their hands on it. The chest was 3-dimensional. The lion's head, right? It came all out like that, teeth and all. It was a big piece. It came out like this. And then the arms popped out and the head came off. And then the horns were much larger. And you could pull the horns out and stick them into the arm sockets so that it looked like the lion that went on the front of the Dynamech, because it was a huge robot and the head would come off and this would come out of it.
I don't understand what you're saying. So which one of these is the Mattel?
This is the Mattel.
Oh, this is the Mattel. That's
Yes.
the Japanese one? This one is the Japanese?
No, Trinessa. Okay. This is the Mattel one.
Right.
These are both Mattel.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But what I'm telling you is,
Yeah.
because they copied them from the Japanese molds,
Mm-hmm.
that the Mattel, the Popey one, this sized, looked like this one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And Mattel
okay.
said, "No, that shit's too expensive. Just give them a blow mold chest. We'll take all that stuff away. It's too much."
Then they went back and did that.
They copied this from another mold.
Oh, well.
But the original Popey version is much larger than this, much greater detail,
Mm-hmm.
and Mattel took it all away because they wanted to be cheap about it. All of them, in fact, like you've got the any of these.
You sure you should be lifting that head up like that?
Like with these, you see the fist rocket firing fist.
Yeah.
He came with 2 rocket firing fists and 2 normal fists that you could interchange.
Oh.
In the Japanese version.
Mattel said you getting
Mattel
one
said, no, we're going to scale that
of
back.
each.
You get one of each, because Mattel was cheap and they wanted to save those pennies.
David says that he learned that a modern toy in the vintage style is called retro.
Yeah. And that's how you get confused.
When you put vintage in eBay,
yeah,
and all that retro garbage come out.
And then the Godzilla, and this is the version 2 of the Mattel Godzilla. The original Popey, which is called Jumbosaurus, had large, sharp spines that came all the way out like almost 2 inches. Had a head that actually looked like Godzilla's head, and had a talking mechanism. It was a pull string on the back. It wasn't a flame like this to make the flame come out. There was actually a pull string, and you would pull the string, and he would roar, similar to the talking GI Joes.
David is waiting for Bandai to release their jumbo Mazingers of Grandeur. They already released Mazinger Z or 2 and Great Mazinger. And yes, Grandizer. And yes, the Popey Machinders are better than the Mattel version.
Yeah, Mattel scaled them way back. They were like, no, we're not spending all that money.
And see, that's the beginning of the downfall when you do stuff like that. Because, okay, in Japan, you say, oh, let's bring these Japanese toys to American kids. Oh, but the Japanese use die cast, they use better material, and you get more playability. No. These little cheap snotty-nosed American kids don't need all that. We're going to give them all plastic so they don't hit each other upside the head and knock each other out.
It's like,
and we're going to use builder-grade plastic.
It's like her Megatron collection.
Yeah.
She's got the original 1974 Megatron, which is die cast and actually shoots.
Yeah.
It's spring loaded and it shoots pellets. And they said, no, we're not going to make it shoot. And no, we're going to get rid of all that die cast because it's too expensive.
Yeah. We're going to give you some cheap builder grade plastic.
Yeah, basically. The Takara, the original Takara. Transformers were much more interesting. And then the reason that they were die cast is because most of them came with a little man who was like this tall that had magnetic feet so that they could stand on the figures or walk on them or sit in them or something. So that, they cheapen it up. You can even see it with the Mazingers there. That's why there's 3 different Mazingers. And you see the last one there. doesn't even have the chest piece anymore. It's a sticker. Those other two have a big chest piece, but every time they reissued them, they took something else away just to save a few bucks.
Basically, Mattel cut many corners making their interpretation of, yeah, they
Yeah,
cut many
oh,
corners
of course.
to save pennies and to make more money. And it's like, why bother? Just make your own thing instead of, ruining somebody else's creation and making it all cheap and sorry just so you can say, oh, we did the same thing. And then they're going to probably lie and say, and ours is better, and it's not.
And David says the old Shogun warriors are made like tanks you
Yeah.
can lift by the head with no issue. Yeah, they're pretty solid. They're actually pretty solid. Richard says, I think I said this earlier. Carvel Commercials. The man that was talking was Tom. Yeah, Tom Carvel was the owner and operator of Carvel Stores. I thank you for the commercials. You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah, those commercials were nice. We were watching them the other day.
Yeah,
Um, and like we said it already, but you could see the transition over the years
yeah.
of, by the time you got, I think, to the 80s, really, you started seeing
That was
them.
early '90s,
I know,
but
but
yeah,
you could start seeing the shift.
less and less of Tom's influence.
Yeah, you could
And
start seeing the way the cakes were made, how the commercial itself was presented. You could see all of that starting to change. I think
mhm.
like in the 80s.
Richard says he believes the Guy King chest plate is Dragon's Head. Yeah, you might be right. I know it's called Dynamech,
Mm-hmm.
but that could be all. But the other robots, the assisting or assisting machines, were robots or were dinosaur looking. Were dinosaur looking. That's why. Yeah, but I think you're right. The dragon, the dragon's head.
Jada Toys' recent Street Fighter figures are much better quality than Marvel Legends, maybe because they represent Capcom Japan.
That could be.
And I've had Jada medals, and I think they do better quality action figures because they had for a minute those like pop, they kind of were kind of trying to compete with Funko,
Yeah.
and they made a better figure. It was roughly the same price, but the mold was better, everything on it was better, but it just didn't take off.
Yeah.
They made some figures. I think they do a better job than people give them credit for. I guess people just know them for cars and
Diecast.
want
Yeah.
them to do cars. But they've dabbled in action figures and they did a good job on it.
Yeah. They did. I thought so, but those were those ones, and it was out for a heartbeat. They were the die-cast metal figurines. They did Ninja Turtles and they did wrestlers,
Yeah,
and
they
they
did
were
a
in like this pentagonal shaped box.
yeah, then they changed it
Hmm.
to a regular square box. They did a lot of Disney characters. They did the Walking Dead because they got the
Oh,
Walking
that's
Dead
right.
ones,
Yeah,
and they did
that's when Funko was at the height.
yeah, they did Ghostbusters. Because I got the Ghostbusters one. I got the
That's right.
Turtles, Ghostbusters, and Walking Dead figures, and a bunch of the um a few wrestlers and a bunch of the Disney characters. And they
Hmm.
did a really good job. I like them better than Funko. The only thing they didn't have, they didn't do as many characters. And again, I think it's because they didn't take off. So
Yeah,
people didn't jump on them because they were a
everybody was
competition.
doing better than them. Kid Robot had better figures
Yeah, because I got
than the
some Kid
Funko.
Robot
Yeah,
stuff.
there was a lot of better looking alternatives to the Funko.
Yeah, but Funko was the first to the game. So it
Yeah.
was like nobody was willing to give anybody else a chance, even though you could clearly see that Kid Robot and Jada, excuse me, had better sculpts. And I think, well, yeah, Jada was articulated.
Uh huh.
Funko, I think you just moved
Just
ahead.
ahead. And then it's the same argument as CGC. there's other alternatives to
Yeah,
CGC, but CGC is the first one. So
yeah, they're the most popular. So why should I give somebody else a chance? And it's just ridiculous. Um, that you won't give anybody else a chance. I gave them a chance. I like what they did. Now I didn't care for their mini figures because they started doing a lot of that 1 inch figure.
oh yeah,
I didn't like those. Um, but their regular 5 inch or 4 or 5 inch, whatever that size was, those was really good. And they present well. And the packaging was a lot better and sturdier. They didn't tear up like
yeah,
the
because the
Funko
Funko
boxes.
packaging's pretty flimsy.
Yeah, and they'll tear up on you in a minute. So, I mean, when they had the little triangular like box, it was harder to display, get them on a shelf, right? And then they did the regular square box, and that was better. But overall, I think it was a better
Better
figure.
option,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a better option, and the price was better because it didn't fluctuate all over the place depending on, and then you didn't have to chase it around. It was in the store. So you didn't have to go here, here, here and there just to find
Yeah,
something.
well, that's that artificial demand model. They, oh, it's only this one's going to CVS and this one's going to
Yeah.
7-Eleven and this one's going here and there, and it's you running around trying to find stuff.
Yeah, and then you go to 7-Eleven and they're like, I don't know what a Funko is.
Yeah, that's because they all went into your trunk.
Easel Monkey thinks your beard is red.
Oh, thank you, Easel Monkey.
Yeah. But let me see. Who is this? Nerd says,
Nerd says he got the Bandai Spirits reissue
oh,
Shogun Warrior, the Mazinger, right?
mm,
And he says it's superb, comes with the two fists and two missile firing hands and a magnetic brain chip.
oh, okay.
Well, Bandai's trying to make them closer to the original, well, the original model that was copied by Mattel, because there is an earlier version than the Popey that Mattel copied. That's a lighter colored blue. Um, that's really hard to find. It's like 1973,
Mm-hmm.
1974, and the traditional Mazinger is like a 76 release, and that's the one that Mattel copied. But yeah, that the Popey that Mattel copied is they're trying to make it as accurate as they could. Bandai, to their credit.
Community said, if you ask me, Jazzwares can put out some nice stuff as well. The Total Anime line has some really well done figures near import quality. I've heard of Jazzware, but I don't
Mhm.
remember anything that they've done. I know I don't have any of their figures, but I'm not really familiar with anything they've done. But Kid Robot and Jada Metals, I have.
Yeah,
So I got experience with them. Yeah, that cat's lair, that lino with the cat's lair does look good. I like what they're doing with that, and that's the thing that get me with Funko a lot. They'll put out something every so often. They'll put out something that just really get you, and like they put out a couple of weeks ago, they showed the Rainbow Brights, and I'm really into that. I have nearly all of their um Thundercats from some years back.
yeah,
Now
the
they're doing
original ones.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah, now they're doing this with the Cat's Lair. And every so often they'll do something that really draws you in. But that stuff I never see in the store. Like, because I always say if I see it in the store and it's on clearance, I would get it.
yeah, but also
Hmm.
we're not really, since we're not hunting for that
Yeah,
or
that's
looking out
true.
for that anymore. We're not gonna go to Hot Topic. We're not going to go to Box Lunch. We're
No,
not going to go to GameStop.
no, we ain't doing
So yeah,
nothing.
we're not doing any of that anymore. We gave up on that all a long time ago.
Yeah, it's like,
So
oh, I'm in Walmart. Let me walk by the toy aisle. Oh, okay,
yeah,
nothing.
which is like two 4-foot sections that's trashed every time you go, and has banged up stuff and or things that should be on clearance, shelf warmers, and you're just like, nah. I don't know why I bothered to walk by here. Just habit, force
Yeah,
force
it
a
is a
habit.
habit.
Yeah, force a
Um,
habit.
cause it's like I walk through the adult section and just like the regular section, and knowing that there's nothing there I would want, but I'll go anyway. And it's like, again, a habit. You go in there for some, go to Walmart for some cat food, you automatically walk by. I'll sometime for work, I have to go and get something for work. I will go by the toy aisle. I'll walk by. And it's like, okay, I don't know why I'm walking by here. I'm not going to get nothing.
Yeah. What am I
But
doing?
yeah, but
Yeah,
it's a force
because
of
and
habit.
then I trying to get out of doing that because all it is just disappointment. I walk on those aisles and I'm like, ugh, why'd I come here? So I've the last couple of times I even been to Walmart, I haven't bothered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I don't think I've not gone by the toy aisle. The only problem with Jada, says K Munin, is when he see the cars in the stores, the box are wrecked. Not in our Walmart. The boxes are in good shape. It just seems like no one really buys them all that much. They don't go up really in price.
hmm
Um, they just don't do as, they're not as bad as Super 7. At least they hold their original value, but they don't seem to go up in price. Nothing they do seem to go up in price.
yeah.
But I like their cars. I get them.
Munin said, "I'm glad I'm not the only one whose Walmart toy section looks like Afghanistan." Yeah, and Blue Splash says all that TMNT retro. Yeah, Walmart is full of Ninja Turtle figures, Ninja Turtles and wrestlers.
Ninja Turtles wrestlers
Yeah,
and Transformers figures. It
and
seems like
Funko
that's
Pops.
all. No, they don't. The
That's in the adult
Funkos,
section.
yeah, but that section has windowed down
Yeah.
greatly. It's nowhere near as big as it used to
Well, at the
be.
height, I mean,
Like,
yeah, like when you went to FYE and they would have an entire wall full
yeah,
and then gondolas filled with Funko Pops and they'd be like 5 deep in the gondola and you have to dig through. You spend like hours sitting there trying to dig through to see if there's anything there. Or when
really,
Hot Topic had tons of them and now it's a section
yeah.
because it's just the interest has died. Richard says, "Did you hear they're making a live action Voltron with Henry Cavill as the leader of the new Voltron team?" I don't know because I hear everything's coming out with Henry Cavill starring in it. They're going to do this, they're going to do that with Henry Cavill. I've heard, I off the top of my head, probably heard that he's going to be starring in like 5 major vintage franchises.
Yeah,
And
because
I don't
one
know if
time he
it's
was
true or
doing
not.
Warhammer, right?
Yeah,
One
so
time.
I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know if any of it's true or not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it remains to be seen. I know he would do it. I mean, he even dressed up like Wolverine to show that he could be Wolverine.
It's like, why do they shun him so bad?
I don't
I
know.
mean, he's a good actor. I've seen some stuff he was in. I saw this one movie. I didn't know it was him at all until like some years later. Um, I think he was like a serial killer or something. But really, all I really see. Well, I saw him in of course, The Witcher.
Yeah.
I thought he was fine in The Witcher. I saw him in Superman. I thought he was fine in Superman. And then one other movie, again, I didn't know it was him. But I don't know. They seem to give him a hard time. I guess he did something to Hollywood, and Hollywood don't like him. A lot of TMNT
Maybe
retro reaction. I mean, reissue
reissues are
figures.
gone. He doesn't see them
Uh,
anymore, says Blue Splash. No more Motu Origins nor G.I. Joes.
yeah, all of that stuff from Walmart is
Yeah,
gone.
they got rid of it after Christmas.
And our Walmart has been gone before that.
Yeah.
All the NECA Ninja Turtle stuff at
On
Walmart are on
clearance, said
clearance.
Mutant.
Hey,
Mutant.
Renard. I mean, Reston. Okay, never
Reston's
mind. Never
last
mind.
stand. He says his Walmart walk is in the figure aisle. The next to it is the Lego aisle. Sometimes has hidden cool figures, and last is electronics. They have a few very expensive exclusives.
Hmm. Live action Voltron. I
Will
don't
it be
know.
like the Power Rangers movie, the one they had in theaters?
I got a couple of wacky wobblers. I got the
Mm-hmm.
Ninja Turtle wacky
Wacky
wobblers,
wobblers,
and the
bobbleheads,
yeah, and the Motu figures. Yep.
and the what are they called? The
Hakaris.
the Hakaris, yeah.
Yep. I got like,
The Hakari vinyls I thought were pretty interesting,
yeah, I
but
got a bunch.
they just killed them.
Yeah, I got a bunch of the Skeletor Hakaris,
Hmm.
a bunch of the Skeletor ones. Like I said, I got the Wackily Wop, but it was just those two. The line of Ninja Turtles and the line of Masters of the Universe.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like those better than the Funkos. I even like the because I didn't like them at first. The vinyls
Hmm.
of the Funko vinyls, I like those. At first I didn't. I thought they looked stupid, but after a while they kind of grow on you, and I ended up getting a bunch of those. I like those, but
Oh man.
I don't know what they're
And they
doing.
canceled those. They got rid of Dorbs. They got rid of their Savage World. Well, Savage World they got in legal trouble.
Yeah,
But
the Dorbs were good too. I like the
mhm.
Dorbs, but it seemed like everything people really got into is what they got rid of.
Well, it wasn't paying off the way they expected
Mm,
because they were again, and I mentioned this a long time ago when we talked about Funko and some of the older videos. They were looking for that next alternative
mm,
because any any manufacturer knows they can only ride that train for so long.
yeah,
They knew sooner or later Funko Pops was going to drop off and
yeah,
people will lose interest. They needed something else to catch people. And that's why they kept rotating in these other concepts. Sodas looked like it was going to do it.
it
Um,
didn't do well.
People were buying cases of those things
Yeah,
looking for chases.
but we saw some videos where this guy literally had cases and cases, and he would open up each one.
He
Oh,
had 26 cases.
yeah, and he was going through each one, opening up every soda can, looking for a chase, and then would throw them to the side if it wasn't a chase in there. So now you got to sell it because there's not a chase.
Yeah,
And then they had the can of soda, and they had the big sodas, the like
the
the
three
two
liter bottle.
liter or
Yeah, yeah.
something. Um, I told you that I think if they were to do a full size lunchbox with a thermos, that would it would jump off for a while, just like Funko did.
Yeah.
But they got a lot of license, so they can do a lot of things with it. Put the different pictures on it. They did the little tiny ones, but nobody want a
The
itty
half
bitty.
scale. Yeah, nobody wants a half
Nobody
scale.
want a little tiny one, and it got to have a thermos. I think it would take off if they tried it. At least
Hmm.
try, do a couple, see what happens.
Yeah, but I mean that's why they kept doing that. And then when they're like, okay, Dorbs, they're just not really moving the way we expected. Let's just shelf that.
Yeah,
And then okay, we'll just put away the Hikaris. We just shelf that, and so on. And sodas looked like it was going to do it for a while. It
yeah,
looks like it was going to do it for a while, but who knows? I don't remember the last time they advertised they were putting sodas out. It's been
yeah,
a minute. Yeah,
yeah.
it's been a minute, and it looked like they were moving
And
because people were obsessed with it because it's not the same as the gimmick was. It wasn't like with the other chases where there's a sticker on it.
yeah,
You had to open the damn thing to see if you got a chase, and that was
yeah,
the problem. So people were buying them by the case, but then they got stuck. They got stuck
yeah,
because nobody wants that stuff aftermarket. They only wanted the chases.
yeah. And then now they're falling off, and it's like, who wants a Funko Pop?
Yeah, well, at least anything that was made after 2015, for the most part.
Hmm.
There's some that hold value, but a lot of that is just too much. It's oversaturated.
But I remember when a con would come up, and Funko, we used to do the roundup, and then we had to do a whole separate one just for
Just
Funko.
for Funko
And they would put out like 100 pops, 100 different ones
for a
for like
convention.
each convention. You had the Emerald City one, they would do a lot, San Diego, New York, and then sometimes they would have little things. But then
Yeah,
after COVID and all of those cons stopped, then they couldn't put it out like that anymore. So then it kind of dwindled off.
yeah. Plus, people get tired of chasing that stuff around.
I know I did.
Running all over town trying to find things that's never there.
Yeah.
Nerd likes the Pez, the original one, the ones with no feet.
But didn't Funko do Pez?
Yeah, they did some things with Pez as well, but
Yeah.
the original Pez, because before they started putting feet on them. Basically, Pez, like from mid '80s back, are the ones that people would want to be bothered to pay any money for. But
Mm.
Pez cranked out way too much too.
Mm.
They made tons and tons of stuff. They were doing feet in the '80s, I think,
Oh.
but no feet can be very valuable. A lot of those didn't survive.
Oh,
A
okay.
lot of those didn't survive from back in the day, and going all the way back to before they even started putting heads on the things. Those are
Mm-hmm.
real expensive. The
Mm.
the ones that just had the little top. I used to have a collection of vintage Pez from like the '60s and '70s. Richard says he believes the Warhammer is coming out on Netflix on Amazon Prime. Also, they're going to ruin it
Oh, so
because
it's
it's
not gonna be a theatrical
a
release.
TV show. But
Or a made for TV movie.
yeah, so they'll ruin it. They'll destroy the franchise like they did with Lord of the Rings.
I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, Warhammer is a video game.
Yeah.
I don't understand too many video games you turn into a movie. I don't know. Whatever. But
Oh well. What are you gonna do?
nothing.
Anyways, we've been on for 2 hours,
Yep.
just over 2 hours. So we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping up and get some things done because while we
Yeah.
still have there's no daylight left. It's
Mm-mm.
nightlife now. It's time for the nightlife.
Oh
But
boy.
anyways, we'll go ahead and start wrapping things up. Thank you everybody for
Yes.
joining us again. If you want to see the jalopy, you can. The video went up today,
Mm-hmm.
so you can check that out. I've got a bunch of commercial blocks that I've done in the last couple of weeks, including a Toys R Us one that's going out on Monday. So
Okay.
watch out for that. Hope you enjoy that. Um, Blue Splash wants to know if I like Marvel Select. Marvel Select. Um, the modern. I don't collect any of the modern ones. I don't collect any of the modern figures. But anyway, we'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you everybody for joining us. Hope you had a good time, and we'll try to do this again